In Texas, we've got a saying, don't start a fight you can't finish. And I guess some folks never learned that lesson because when a 29-year-old HOA chair decided she could evict me from land my family's owned since before she was born, well, that wasn't just insulting, it was plain stupid. My name's Colton Briggs, and I don't just run cattle, fix fences, or sign deeds that are older than some people's makeup routines. I protect a legacy built out of sweat and stubbornness, and I don't let anybody forget it. She thought her HOA bylaws trump property law. Yeah, that's cute. Ever get a legal threat on your own land? You know what I mean, right? Drop in the comments. Because this whole mess, it's not just about cows and parking lots, it's what happens when someone mistakes a landowner for a pushover. And believe me, things got expensive fast. I've been working these same 500 acres of stubborn Texas soil since my granddaddy bought him in 1943 real ranch land. Not some hobby patch with pretty horses for Instagram. We're talking 200 head of cattle, 3 barns that actually work, and enough hay to feed half the county if the drought bites down. My granddaddy built this place with his own hands after he came back from the war. Me daddy expanded it, then left it to me. So yeah, this isn't just my livelihood. It's blood, bone, and history. Every morning at 5:30, I step out onto my porch, mug of black coffee in hand, faded blue tea under an old khaki jacket, and I survey an empire 3 generations deep. 2 years ago, though, things changed. Developers built Pinewood Estates just 150 meters from my fence line. 47 houses, all in HOA-approved paint, with lawns trimmed like golf courses and mailboxes in matching shades. The kind of place where folks get fined if their grass is a hair too long or if you park your truck the wrong way. Didn't bother me. At first, more people meant more business in town, maybe even better roads. But you get enough suburbanites together, and one of them is bound to think she's running for mayor of her own kingdom. That was Tina Malloria, single mom from Austin, 29, with this habit of dressing down in fake working clothes and knockoff shoes. She'd strut around with her clipboard, acting like it was some kind of sheriff's badge, talking up community standards and protecting the children. More rules than the IRS and double the attitude. 6 months in, she was HOA president, promising to clean things up. First time I met Tina, I was at Cooper's General Store, been going there 30 years loading feed, when she comes up, flashing this strained, concerned smile that set off alarms. "Excuse me," she says, clutching her clipboard. "I'm Tina Mallory, president of the Pinewood Estates HOA, and I'd like to discuss some concerns our residents have." Her tone, like my cows had personally insulted her family. I stopped what I was doing and listened, 'cause in Texas, we're polite even when we know trouble's coming. She starts talking about the impact my operation is having: smells, noise, kids' health, property values. I looked her up and down and said, "Ma'am, you know what that smell is? That's the smell of tax money that built the school your kids go to, paved the road you drive every day." Her smile cracked, but she kept scribbling notes like she was prepping for a lawsuit. 3 days later, there's a letter in my mailbox, official HOA stationery, legal lingo about environmental impact and community wellness standards, accusing my ranch of violating regulations that don't even exist and telling me to mitigate negative effects immediately. Signed by Tina and her treasurer, Derek Nash, though I'd bet Derek hadn't even read it. The best part? Failure to comply may result in legal action. Yeah, that'll get my attention. Right after, I started noticing cars creeping by, people taking pictures from the road, neighbors measuring distances like some amateur spy ring. Lois Whitaker, who's lived next to us 40 years, told me folks were out there with clipboards pretending to run studies. They weren't fooling anybody, they were building a case. On social media, Tina posted 47 photos of my ranch with dramatic captions like, "Who will protect our children?" It was a circus. She whipped up a frenzy. Some folks were genuinely worried. Others just loved drama. Suddenly, it was open war. Next thing I know, Tina and her crew, Derek, and a nervous-looking lady I'd never seen showed up at my gate in matching SUVs. They parked right on my private property sign like it was a challenge and strutted up my drive. Tina, in her signature red sweater and clipboard, announces, "I'm here as president of the HOA to serve you with formal notice of violation." She hands me an envelope, Derek takes notes. The other woman checks her watch. Like a bad play where everyone's reading off the wrong script. Violation of what? Exactly? I ask. This is private property. I don't belong to your association. Tina flips through her printouts, quoting county regs and environmental statutes, half of it copied off Google. Your operation is in direct violation of residential zoning, a threat to community health. I almost laugh at here's a woman who's lived here 2 years, telling me what's legal on land my family's had since 1943. I kept it civil, just like my granddad taught me. Ma'am, this ranch is grandfathered in by county law since before your development even existed. Derek shuffled, clearly uncomfortable. But then Tina laid it down. You have 30 days to remove your cattle, or we'll take legal action. The confidence on her face, like she truly believed she could end a generational business with a clipboard and some highlighted web printouts, was almost impressive. After they left, my neighbors started acting strangely friendly, avoiding eye contact. Tina had turned the neighborhood against me, one rumor at a time. That night, on my porch with a beer and the violation notice, I remembered something my grandfather used to say: this road don't just lead to our house sites. Why folks are scared of your granddaddy. Never made sense till now. Next morning, I dug through my granddad's old desk papers, receipts, survey maps, everything from the 50s on. That's when I found it. A surveyor's map from 1986, showing that the land Pinewood Estates was built on. It wasn't even the parcel we'd sold to the county years ago. It was still legally Briggs land. For 2 years, the HOA had been living on my family's property. I spread those maps out, compared the coordinates, and realized Tina wasn't just wrong about my ranch, her entire HOA was trespassing. That day, Tina's lawyer sent me a nasty letter threatening court if I didn't cease livestock operations. But I knew something she didn't. Tavery Pinewood Estates buyer had signed a disclosure when they bought their home, agreeing to live next to an active cattle ranch, with all the smells, noise, and traffic that come with it. I went straight to the county courthouse, found every document on file, environmental assessments, easement agreements, the works. Turns out, the developers had even used my ranch as a selling point in their brochures: country living, real working agriculture. Then came a twist I never saw coming. Carol Jenkins, the HOA secretary, called me, crying. She admitted Tina had lied about legal citations, made up complaints, and fake support to scare people into signing petitions. Mr. Briggs, she said, I've got it all documented if you need it. That was the last straw. When Tina called a meeting to celebrate the county health department's investigation into my ranch, I walked in with Inspector Rodriguez's clean bill of health and the surveyor's map. Tina tried to spin it, but when I showed the crowd that their parking lot was built on my land, well, you could have heard a pin drop. One by one, residents backed away from her, apologized to me, withdrew their signatures, and demanded to see their original contracts. Carol resigned as secretary, promising to correct every false record. By the end, Tina was alone, holding her clipboard like a sinking lifeboat. The next day, I put up survey markers, no trespassing signs, and sent certified letters to every house bay, $400 a month to use my land for parking or walk in from the street. Phones lit up, some folks mad, most apologetic, all realizing who really held the cards. Tina panicked, hired a new Dallas lawyer, sent threats about extortion, but she hadn't read the fine print. Every homeowner had signed those disclosures, and property law was on my side. And then, karma came knocking. Attorney General's office opened an investigation into Tina's misuse of HOA funds. She was finished criminal charges, civil liability, even foreclosure when the mortgage company called in her overdue loans. Her last move was to call the news, painting herself as a victim. But public records don't lie. Once reporters saw the real documents, the story flipped overnight. Most neighbors now sided with me, not her. The final act? Carol Jenkins, the new HOA president, called a meeting this time to negotiate a real, fair agreement for parking and access. I dropped the fee to $300 a month, invested it back into roads and lights. Families apologized, wanted their kids to tour the ranch. Hostility faded. Community bloomed. Tina vanished, her house foreclosed, barred from HOA leadership for good, a pariah in the place she'd tried to rule. Months later, I got a Notino return address. Mr. Briggs, I'm sorry for what I did. I was wrong. Just signed, Tina. And reading that, I felt more relief than triumph. The real win wasn't humiliating her or collecting rent. It was seeing a community finally come together, stronger for the struggle. Now, Pinewood Estates has an annual ranch day. Kids feed my cattle, parents ask questions, neighbors laugh together. Our story's been shared in legal circles as a lesson. When folks try to push you off your land with rumors and legal bluffs, don't panic, know your boundaries, gather your facts, and stand your ground. Because bullies don't win when the truth's on your side sooner or later. They fold faster than a house of cards in a Texas wind. So let me ask you, was I right to fight back? Should I have gone easier on Tina, or did justice get served the Texas way? Share your thoughts below. Where do you stand on neighbors, land, and what real community means?